Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 209. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for Rated G, you can find us on patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Well, we're back, Dan. Finally, dust is all settled. PAX is over.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you get PAX Pox this year?
I did not, thankfully. Thankfully get the PAX Box. Healthy, come out the other side. I assume you also are healthy?
I'm good. Listen, I had a big can of disinfectant.
Yeah, you did.
I had the airborne chewables.
Uh-huh.
So I was ready. I was ready.
Yeah,
I had everything except for a mask.
Mm-hmm. Dan was like Dustin Hoffman in Outbreak, right? He's just like, oh my God, we got to contain this.
Yes. I was
with good reason, because we didn't get sick, so it's all good.
So we're all good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
It's nice to be back in the normalcy, right? Back in the regular swing of things.
I will say Boston is very cold.
Yes.
Listen, 50 degrees in New York is different than 50 degrees in Boston.
That's right.
It's really cold in Boston.
It was crazy. It was a good time, though, you know.
So, but look, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty good weekend. Yep. I started binge watching the new Castlevania season 3.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. I didn't finish it. Really good.
I'm still stuck on season 2. I'm dragging over.
They don't pull any punches in this anime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I accidentally put on season 1. And I was like, this looks oddly familiar. I was like, what? Why does episode 1 look oddly familiar? And I realized I was watching season 1.
Episode 1. Yeah.
But then you don't realize the monster has a baby in its mouth because it just killed it.
That's right.
They don't pull no punches.
No, it is a hard R anime in this case.
I guess this won't be on Disney
Plus. No, it's not going to be on the Disney afternoon at all. Right after Gummy Bears and right before DuckTales. Yeah, Castlevania.
Yeah, Castlevania. No.
I'm glad it's doing so well.
Oh, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. It definitely gives me vibes of the game. I will say this: the music isn't as good so far, and I don't know what episode I'm on, but I'm definitely I think there's 10 episodes.
Yeah,
I'm probably in 7.
Okay.
Right? The music isn't as good as season 1.
Season 2, you mean?
I mean season 2.
Yeah. Season 1, they didn't really have a lot of that music, if even at all. Probably for licensing rights, because they didn't know how much money they were going to throw at it. They didn't know how well it was going to do, and they're like, nope, people love it. Season 2, we're going all out. So yeah,
that would be my only complaint.
That's fair, because there are definitely some Castlevania classics that everyone recognizes as soon as they come on, and those are the ones you want to hear. And we heard a bunch of those in season 2.
Well, season 2, when you get into, I know you haven't finished season 2, and I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But when you get into the battle with Dracula and all that stuff, the music is awesome.
Yep.
So I've been doing that. I did that, and also, did you see? I don't know how I feel about this. But did you see we got more Batman teases from the movie?
All
right. Did you see the Batmobile that they tweeted out?
You mean the Patmobile? The
Pat
with a hard P?
Did you see the Batmobile?
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. For a minute there, I forgot forgot Robert Pattinson was Batman. I thought Vin Diesel was Batman for a second.
It does look like a tricked out Camaro. Yeah.
It's like it's a Batman muscle car.
Yeah, it's very much
from the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, very much. I felt the same way. We'll see. You know, like they have to build a world around it. They have to make it convincing. I have faith. I will see.
It does look okay. I will give it this. It does look more down to earth.
Yes.
Right. It's not fantasy driven. Kind of like the Batfleck. Batfleck. That was more fantasy driven because they had to make it that way because they were in the same universe as Superman.
Right.
You know, he's an alien.
Right.
And Wonder Woman, she's been on Earth for like
right.
Years.
You have to get the tone right across the board.
And
so.
Cyborg, who's a cyborg.
Yeah.
And Aquaman, he could talk and breathe underwater.
That's right.
Right.
That's
so
right.
so Batman was more in the fantasy or Batfleck. But I would love to see how they have a DC cinematic universe now because Henry Cavill said he's still Superman. They will be doing another Aquaman sequel, and we already know about the new Wonder Woman movie.
I mean, to be fair, although they were minor characters, there were replacements in the MCU. Like Tony Stark's dad changed to the guy from Mad Men like halfway through the series. So if you look at like the first one, he's a completely different dude with like a big old bushy mustache. Like he was a little bit broader. And then they brought in the heavy hitter from Mad Men, who's a great actor, and then he became the de facto dad from there on out.
Well, I mean, they changed War Machine.
They changed War Machine too. Yeah. Right after Iron Man 1, they're like, you're not gonna do.
I mean, they changed the Hulk.
We got to get Don Cheadle in there. Yeah.
They changed the Hulk.
Yeah, they did. Well, they kind of had to, but yeah.
Which I got to be honest, it still would have been awesome if Ed Norton was like a part of.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You know, and I love Mark Ruffalo, right? I mean, he could have been something else, all right? But
I was really like, I don't know about Ruffalo because he was not an action hero at that time.
Yeah,
he was a romance comedy guy, right? And these like indie romance comedies and whatever else. And I'm like, I can't see it.
It's funny. I never really noticed him. Like now that I watch like if you just see a movie just on HBO or like AMC, I was like, that's Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the cop.
Exactly.
I don't even remember that. Like in whatever movie it was, I was like, oh my god, he's the cop.
Yep.
Right. Oh, he's the jealous ex-boyfriend.
Yep.
Oh, Mark. He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice him.
He had a big career before that, just not a big action career.
Yeah.
And now this kind of kicked the door open.
Again, I love him. Like he could have been something else, but I kind of wish Ed Norton would have, because they would have made a Hulk too.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. They still have yet to do a standalone Hulk movie, which you told me about that. Universal still owns the rights to it.
Not anymore.
They don't. Okay.
Not anymore. We talked about it maybe like a month or two ago, or maybe even further back.
Yeah.
They made a deal and they got the rights back to the Hulk.
Wow.
So the only thing left, I think, is some minor characters spread out to other studios.
Yeah.
But the only major characters are from Spider-Man with Sony. Sony just won't let it go.
Yep.
And it's and this is how it ties back into video games. It's gonna be something to watch to see how the PS5 does, because the PS5 is what's keeping, or the PS4, the PlayStation division is what's keeping Sony afloat.
Yeah, of course.
Right now they don't have.
They're the number one selling department, I guess.
Yeah,
if you want to call it that.
Yeah. The movies aren't doing so well.
Yep.
They sold their computer business.
Yep.
And it's PlayStation. And the phones suck. No one cares about the Sony.
Nobody wants a Sony Ericsson phone.
Yeah, no. Nobody wants that.
No. TVs are good.
TVs are good, but TVs don't make a profit. Remember that.
I know. Yeah,
right? They don't make a big
margins
profit.
are very thin.
Cameras. Funny enough, I didn't know this until like a few years ago. Right? Sony cameras and camcorders and stuff like that. You would think would be like widespread, shooting movies and stuff. And I'm sure when Sony shoots their movies,
they use the Sony product. Yeah, of course.
But Panasonic behind the scenes is being used in the film industry, right? Like Panasonic, the
Panavision.
It's like, really, Panasonic still exists?
Yeah, man.
But it does. But but they use that like in major films and editing is all Panasonic stuff.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. They want more commercial than consumer.
Yeah. I mean, they did make some great plasmas back in the day, don't get me wrong. And then plasma fell out. And, the real CDs are good, but I'd take a Samsung, an LG, or a Sony over those any day.
So that's my weekend. How was your weekend?
Good. Back in the. I'm back in the swing of things. It's good to be back in New York. You know, we had the week of work. I was just trying to all right, we're not in convention mode anymore. Right, we're not getting up at 7 to be out by 9 to be there all day to go around and see all these games. So, yeah. You know, it took me about a week to recalibrate, but you know, okay. I'm back in the swing of things. I did crack open some of the games that I got from PAX, which I can talk about in the games we're playing. But it's been a good time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I didn't know this. This was like the last 2 weeks of the birthdays. Mm-hmm. Birthdays. Happy birthday to the Switch and happy birthday to PlayStation 2.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
So remember, the Switch is 3 years old.
Yep, March 6th, 2017, I believe, is when it launched.
And we bought the Switch we got it right before we went to PAX that year.
Yes, we did.
And that was awesome, right? Mm-hmm. And then PlayStation 2, I did not know was released in Japan March 4th in 2000.
Yep.
So, happy birthday to the Switch, which we still have fond memories of. And the PS2, it came out in America in September, North America in September, but in original release into March. That was sort of like the gray area for gaming for me, because I remember I bought it for a DVD player.
Everyone did. That's one of the biggest selling points of that thing. It's a game console and a DVD player that costs the same amount as a standalone DVD player. Just buy the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, and you can, all the kids, I'm sure, trick their parents. Yeah, I want to watch DVDs. Yeah, buy a PS2. And as soon as you buy a PS2 and you go to Blockbuster, all you do is buy games.
Exactly.
Exactly. You rent games.
Oh, my God.
And to me, it was the Dragon Ball Z Budokai machine. That's all I really cared about.
It was the Tekken and SSX machine for me. Tekken Tag Tournament and SSX. Those were the two best games at launch. And I got it, I technically got it at launch. The thing of it is, because they had it coming out that holiday season, right? And I was working at Electronics Boutique. And
EB Games.
It turned into EB Games. This is back when it was Electronics Boutique. In the food court mall, in the food court of the Smith Haven Mall, back on Long Island. Fond memories. It was great. But I remember when it was coming out, and you know, we only got a limited supply. We got a list of people, and basically, I was like, all right, look, if you guys want it, you can buy it like everybody else. You just put your $300 down, and you'll be in the queue, and you'll get it like everybody else in the order that you pre-ordered it. And we were like, okay, you know, that's fair. They didn't restrict us, and they didn't give us priority. So I was like, all right. So I went to my mom. I'm like, Mom, I need you to help me out. I need to get this PlayStation 3. And she's like, all right.
2.
PlayStation 2, sorry. Mm-hmm. You pay me back for it, and I will help you buy it. And I said, nice. And then it came around, as the PlayStations came in, I would, if I was next in line, I would get one of those, and we just keep it moving. And the day that I was going to take mine home, some kid came in with his dad, and he was like, my PS2 doesn't work, doesn't play games, doesn't whatever. And I was just thinking in my head, and I'm like, oh no, I have to give this, I have to get this PlayStation 2 up. And my boss came by, and he pulled me to the side, he put his arm around me, and he said, look, here's the situation. You don't have to do it, but here's what it is, and it would be kind of nice to do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So I gave my copy to the kid, and his face just lit up. And I'm like, yeah, I think I did the right thing.
Okay.
A couple of weeks later, I got mine. It was all good. It was gravy, but man, woof. Good times.
So if I was in that situation, I would have looked at that kid, and I said, man, and I looked at the father, and I was like, man, I really feel for you. I got a surprise for you. We got a refurbished PS1 you can have. Fraction of the price. Fraction of the price.
Oh, it's terrible.
You got this big game library.
That's terrible.
And you can go to Funko.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna be home playing my PS2.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Terrible.
I'm sorry.
Ugh. Nah, I mean it was only like a couple weeks later that I got my PS2.
Well, again,
so
I always told the story. Mm-hmm. I told the story of Christmas.
That's right. Yeah, you did the good thing.
When I got the 360,
yep.
I got the cheap version, no hard drive.
The arcade model. Yeah,
I got the arcade model.
Yeah, for $250, I think, or $300.
No, actually, no, I'm lying. No, I got the one with the hard drive.
You did?
No, I did get the one with the hard drive. Now that I think about it,
with the smaller hard drive, the 8 gig. I think,
yeah, it was just a smaller drive. Mm-hmm. I don't remember, and my aunt, they couldn't buy my cousin a Christmas gift, so. Instead of ripping I took it home before Christmas.
Yep.
Instead of ripping it open and start playing games right away, I wrapped it up and I put both our names on it. Mm-hmm. And, he woke up that Christmas day. He knew he wasn't getting any gifts.
Right.
And I said, all the kids, like my sister and my other little cousins, they opened their gifts. And I said, hey, you need to go look under the tree. And he looks. Aww. His eyes, he's like, oh, what's this? And he's probably thinking it's like a shirt or something. To have something. He opens it up and his eyes gets big and he's like, oh my God, it's a 360. And I said, yeah. And it's our 360.
Nice.
I didn't want to, I'm like, no, it's our 360. We can share it.
Nice.
Right? I don't even remember. I think Condemned was like the only game I had.
Criminal Origins, yeah.
Condemned was like the only game. I still have that game.
It's a good game. Yeah.
So, all right.
Nice.
Still, happy birthday to PS2. Happy birthday to the Switch. I wouldn't say many more.
Right.
To the Switch.
Right.
PS2.
PS2's dead.
PS2 is over.
It is. Well, I mean, the 25th anniversary comes around. We're going to celebrate again. So,
yeah, there we go. Well, no, I think next year we're going to celebrate. You can drink.
PS2 my God, it's 21, right?
21.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But, we've come so far from like the PS2, right? Well, now everyone is playing nice. Everyone got all these collaborations going on.
Right. Crossplay is the thing now, right? You got exclusive games from Microsoft on the Nintendo Switch.
Certain games are cross-save.
That's right.
Right? With PC and like Switch or PC and Xbox, PS4, right?
Sony finally let down their guard. Fortnite is now crossplay.
They're opening up, yeah. The weirdest collaboration that's happened so far in recent time is Nintendo and Levi jeans.
Oh shoot! Yeah, so
this is weird. This is a little weird. You get your Levi jeans with your Mario face on your butt pocket.
I mean, like I saw this on Twitter and I was like, oh, and then I thought about it and I'm like, well, Mario wears jean overalls, right?
He does.
Like it kind of makes sense in that case, And Levi's is a very respectable brand of jeans. They've been around since the 1890s, right? They've been around forever.
But I think when I think Levi's, I think Cowboys.
Sure.
When I first heard about this, I just thought about Mario with a cowboy hat on a horse.
Well, I mean, he does have that outfit in Mario Odyssey, so.
So this is so weird. So they're collaborating to make Mario themed clothes.
Yeah.
Right. I love it when you get the coins going into like the coin stitch and look like they're going into the pocket.
Into the pocket.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be like sold at Target, and it may very well be sold at Target.
Right.
But I'm thinking of Target prices.
Right.
But these are going to be at a premium.
No.
So I think the cheapest pair of jeans are like $100.
Sure.
Right. And Levi is like a tight fitting clothes.
Yeah.
Right. Like they don't really have. Like they're tight fitting jeans too.
Yeah, they don't really have the loose straight or boot cut. I mean, they kind of do, but they still have a bit of a tight fit.
Yeah. So this is just a weird collaboration. I definitely would love to get a T-shirt. I don't know about the jeans so much.
Right. You're gonna get that nice salmon pink one, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, with Princess Peach on it.
Princess Peach on it.
Yeah. I mean, they look cool. I know that Uniqlo did a bunch of collaborations with Nintendo like a couple of years ago. They always do like a new line collaboration.
Uniqlo, Japanese clothing line anyway.
Yeah, correct? Yeah. They did like Dragon Ball Z one year. They've done like a bunch of different things, and they're definitely cool shirts. Those are much cheaper. They're like $15, $20 T-shirts.
Yeah.
But I mean, like they look good. They have nice designs on them and whatnot. So
okay.
Nintendo is trying to be hip and relevant, and
Well, they want to keep and again, I can understand why they want to keep the price at a premium, right? Old Nintendo games still keep their price.
Yeah.
If you want to get Mario Party for the N64, it still costs you like $70.
Could be a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Could be a lot of money.
Speaking of money.
This is wow. Okay, that was a fantastic segue.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I cut you off in the middle. Go ahead.
Did you get any? Did you spend any money for some pre and post PAX pickups?
Yes. So I mean, the PAX pickups as of the last episode. So I'm not going to go over those again. But I did get some stuff that came in when I got back from PAX, which was very nice. The game shop downstairs on Instagram does claim sales every now and again. So shout out to you guys. And I bought a copy of Breath of Fire 3 for the PlayStation 1, the Japanese version. Adventures of Lolo 2 for the Nintendo, which is a little bit of a pricey game, and I got that for a good price. I got both of those for a pretty good price, I think. And then
Lolo, underrated series, not even a game, because there's 3 of them, right?
That's right. Yeah, 3 of them from the Nintendo, and then they just stopped putting them out. And that was
I think didn't they get another game like on a Game Boy Advance or something like that?
was a possibility.
I think there was like a smaller, obviously it wasn't Lolo 4. It was
Right.
like another side game that came out on one of the handhelds.
Maybe. I do know it was from HAL Laboratories.
Yeah.
Who made Air Fortress, and they ended up having a hand in Smash Brothers. Eventually they're very close to Nintendo. I think they're absorbed into Nintendo now, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they still have the IP if they wanted to put that out again in a new adventure, which 100%
Yes.
I would be all about.
Adventure Lolo Game Boy.
Wow! Oh, on the Game Boy, the OG
Yes.
Game Boy. All right,
Yes.
I gotta get it.
Which still is pricey. It's about $60 on Luke.
Yeah, well, I have to wait on that one then. To pause right.
Well, you waited this long already. You
I know.
waited.
That's true. That's true. So I have Lolo 2. I think I have Lolo 1 as well. So I just need 3 in the Game Boy one.
I have all. I have all 3. And
Nice. So I also got my good friend GameStop, which is that thing is becoming more and more barren.
there's a friend that may move away one day.
And the friend is definitely going to move
Forever.
away. I know they're trying to gear up for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, but god damn, it's like a ghost town in there. And they basically always have their 4 for $20 or 4 for $10, right? So any games that are 10 and under, you get 4 of them for $20. Any games 5 and under,
You buy 5 games, you get 1 tumbleweed for free.
yeah. So there you go. Throw a little sand and a mini cactus in there for you. But I got on that sale Lords of the Fallen for Xbox One, Mutant League Football, Mark Morris Infinite Air, Dungeons 3 for the Xbox One, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare for the PS4, Grip for the PS4, Fairy Tail Fights for the Xbox 360. Never knew that game existed. And Civ 4 for the PC.
Nice.
Which was like $2. So there you go.
I didn't even know they sold PC games.
Well, I didn't buy it from them. I bought it from a street vendor who managed to have it mixed in with all his DVDs, because there's always one game.
You know, Metal. As a side note, Metal Jesus was doing sort of like a overlook of his collection and what he has the most games for and stuff.
Yep.
He has thousands of big box PC games.
Yep.
Most of his collection is big box PC games.
That is not surprising.
Because he's a big computer game.
Yep. Well, he used to work for Sierra back in the day.
He did.
So he's into all that stuff. Yeah, he loves his big box PC.
Yeah, and he has all different types of old computer. I was like, I had that. He has a leading edge. I was like, oh, I had that computer when I was a kid. Right? So that was just a side note.
Yeah,
about PC games. I got 10.
Yeah, you got to build up that collection. I think I'm at about 100, maybe 80 to 100. I think at this point. But it's like big box and small box. So,
Yeah.
But CIP though. So how about you, Dan?
So I finally, SNES wireless controllers for the Switch.
The 8-bit dues?
No, for the Switch from Nintendo. Finally back in stock.
Uh-huh.
So I picked one up. That came in right before I went to PAX, so I didn't get a chance to really play with it until when we got back.
Yeah.
Works perfectly.
Nice.
Still feels good.
Nice.
Right, doesn't feel cheap. Still in stock if you want it right now. I may buy. It's $29.99 plus shipping, so about $36. I may pick up another one. I have 2 because I have 2 of the NES Joy-Cons.
Well, you gotta have a pair, Dan.
Gotta have a pair. And it's USB-C, so you can charge a Switch and then you can charge a controller. Same charger, because it does come with the charger too.
Nice. Nice. That's pretty good.
And then I picked up Mega Man Zero ZX collection for the Switch.
Yep.
And 2 Nintendo Power magazines, old school ones.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I told the story about me trying to buy it at PAX on the PAX episode, but I've definitely found them for a cheaper price.
Yeah,
on eBay.
Dan on the hustle. Dan on the hustle.
I'm on a hustle.
It was a good story, right? He's like, I ain't paying that price.
I'm not.
Immediately goes online, finds it for like infinitely cheaper.
Talking about $100. I got it for $26.
I know,
buddy.
I know. Nice.
Do you price match? No. Okay.
Yeah, right. This is not Target.
All right, Dave. As we always try to start the show, but epically fail. What have you been playing?
Dan, you know it's my favorite part of the show, but today,
it's even
of
better.
all days,
Oh God, I should have known better. I should have known better.
I'm doing a dance right now. I'm doing the Carlton dance right now. Today of all days.
We should have started with this and not epically fail. Get this out the way.
Listen, man. Arguably the most important game, definitely like top 5 most important games in video game history, Final Fantasy VII. When we got back from PAX, right?
Demo.
The day they're like, demo's out on PS4. What? So you know what me and Dan did? We immediately went and downloaded the demo, and I gotta say, it's very good.
It feels awesome, and I gotta say, I'm playing. Spoilers. Surprise, surprise. I've been playing it too.
Yeah.
I beat it 3 times. I beat it on hard, normal, and classic.
Yep.
Or easy. It was I beat it on all 3 modes.
Hard, classic, and normal, classic, and easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the only difference with classic is which is a little weird because I thought it would be more turn-based.
Right. That's what I thought too.
And it's not. It's if you don't have to attack. Cloud will automatically attack enemies who attack you, and you focus more on the magic and items and stuff like that.
Right, which is in the menus, which is a little bit more turn-based, but I thought it was going to be the weight, a little ATB.
Well, you do wait a little bit because when they're doing a big attack, you can't do any magic or anything like that.
Oh, I see.
You can still hit square to attack, right? But you can't do any magic. You got to wait until they hit you with a big burst, and then you can counterattack.
Then
you can sort of counterattack.
Huh.
I got to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised.
Right?
It looks amazing. It plays awesome. The only thing I had to get used to was not jumping. You can't jump.
It's not an action platformer, even though it feels a lot more like an action platformer now. But yeah, it's not that kind of game. Yeah. I mean, there are points where you can go from platform to platform. Like basically, there's points where they're like, okay, we want you to be able to go from this thing to this thing, so you can do program jumps, I guess. And you'll know when you come up against those, right? There'll be a broken train track, and you can hop across it or whatever. So they're probably still going to have all that stuff in place, but. Some things that are different is it looks like the battles are non-random anymore. At least in the bombing run, the way they had it set up is you always have those particular enemies to fight in that particular area with those back and forth dialogue. So it feels more scripted. It still felt great. I'm not saying one way or the other about it, but that is a marked difference.
Well, you can control both characters. You can control, I guess, your team. You can only have up to 3 characters, right?
3, yeah. 3 is the max.
Which makes sense because just using 2 characters, Cloud and
Barrett,
it was a little convoluted trying to switch between them.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And that's
I accidentally used Barrett's special because I didn't even know I was on Barrett because I didn't even know I hit LB.
Right, yeah.
Right? So I was like, oh, I'm using Barrett's oops. I'm still trying to get used to it. But other than that, after my first playthrough, I was like, oh, okay, I got the hang of this. Especially when you get in classic mode where you're only doing specials and items and stuff like that. You can attack, right? You still, don't get me wrong, in classic you could still attack, but if you don't attack, it will automatically attack for you.
Yeah.
Just regular attacks, obviously.
Yeah.
But I like that when you hit triangle, right? And then you sort of slow down a little bit and you do a major attack.
Yep.
Right?
You can do the stance change. Yeah.
So
yeah, it was good. There was not really anything that I could be I don't like this, right? This is not like the original. Because everyone's going to be like on their like heels, like, all right, what did you change about my game? And they changed a lot, but they still kept a lot the same. Like they did a very good job of balancing old and new.
Listen, if I'm telling you it looks awesome, and I'm the biggest non-Final Fantasy person,
Yeah.
I'm telling you it looks awesome. I'm telling you this is good.
Yeah.
Then you got to go out and play the demo.
Yeah.
My only, I guess, well, I keep saying my only, but my third gripe on the game would be that I can't, like the however you did in a demo doesn't cross over to the actual game when the game comes out in April.
Oh, yeah, because they're like probably gonna
tweak some more stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's probably gonna be different in like the final version. Yeah, I mean it was only like 5 minutes, 10 minutes to get to the boss, set the bomb, and then run out. But I died at the boss. I'll tell you that.
I didn't die.
Yeah,
I didn't die. I beat the boss. I guess on the normal mode, I beat, it was a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you definitely have to learn how to dodge, keep dodging and blocking.
Yep.
Right?
And you gotta
Especially when he's throwing all those missiles and he's like standing on the ceiling throwing missiles from afar. You really gotta have to really learn how to block and then use your special.
Yep. And you have to pay attention to the cues. He's like, look, he's lightning. He's affected by lightning. That'll like short circuit the beast. I feel like a lot of the battles are going to play out like that. They're going to be like, well, the optimal way to do it is to do it like this, right? If you hit him with this will like stun them and then put them in this mode.
So, all right. Before we go to break, I want to bring back a good segment that we haven't done in a while, and I think this is going to be a really good one. And this is the indie game spotlight.
Yep.
Where we spotlight an indie game that we've played and we like, and we really want to tell our audience, let you know, give some shine to this indie game. And it's a game that we didn't really talk about in our PAX episode, but we played it at PAX. And you got a chance to play it. I didn't get a chance to play it. I got a little jealous because this game looks really good. And because of this game, made me go. I had to go play another game, which I'll talk about in a second. Because I own it, but I didn't think I would actually want to go play it.
Yeah.
But we played this small indie game called She Dreams Elsewhere. This game definitely is now on my radar.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
I liked it a lot. It was cool because we got to meet like the devs and the music collaborators and like everybody.
The composer.
Yeah. And small little outfit, very much like Undertale, very much like Final Fantasy, very much like Persona 5. So like it feels like a ZX Spectrum game with like the black and white visuals and like like the 2-color sprites. So it was very much like that kind of tone. Had the humor of like Earthbound and Undertale. It had some nods to Final Fantasy. Had some nods to Persona in there. Definitely a game in my wheelhouse. Very much a PC, or not. Very much an RPG, I should say.
Well, the battle system gave me Persona 5 vibes. And I was talking with the dev the night before, and I said, because the guy Matt from Freelance Writer for IGN told me I had to play it, right? So we had to play it the next day. He never played Persona 5. He played Persona 4, but he never played Persona 5. And I said, spot on the look of the battle system and when the things pop up, like when you win, right? Like I was like, definitely looks just like Persona 5.
Yep.
I was like 1-to-1. I was like, that looks awesome. So I was surprisingly really into the game.
Right.
So much so that I cracked open Undertale for the Vita.
Right.
And I was like, I got to, we heard so much about Undertale, and I know you told me it gave you Undertale vibes. I had to play it to see it. And I was spot on. Yeah. Spot on.
Undertale, Earthbound. I mean, Earthbound begat Undertale, which begat this game in a way.
Yeah.
Which is good, it has a little bit of a referential history, I guess, is the word for it. And it is going to be coming out. Like, it's still in, like, I guess it's in early production.
It's still in early production.
Yeah.
It looked, I think he said it had, like, PC and Xbox, and same thing about PlayStation and Switch.
Right. So, yeah, PC and Xbox, probably in, like, the Steam store, or maybe, like, standalone PC. The studio is, we would be remiss to not name the studio, but it's Studio Zavir. Or Zavir, I think. Small little outfit. Very good people. They're passionate. Yeah, I mean, like if there's anything I can say about that team is that they're like super passionate And they're gonna make a good product. If it's anything like the demo, it's gonna be great.
Well, it's just something to keep your eye out on, right? I'm definitely keeping my eye out on this. Hopefully, we can hear more about it soon, and we'll talk about it on the show. So, all right, why don't we take a break? And when we come back, we're getting to the top gaming news of last week.
Hey, this is Matt Adler, freelance journalist for IGN, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers podcast.
We're back. All right, let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We have to start with this. I mean, we were gone at PAX, right, for like a week. So we missed this in like last week's episode.
Right.
That we didn't really record because we did the PAX recap.
Yep.
But everything has been canceled, right, because of the CV virus.
Yep.
South by Southwest canceled. Netherlands had a Mortal Kombat tournament postponed. TwitchCon in Amsterdam canceled, and GDC canceled.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone was like, "Oh, Sony, why are you backing out? Why are you backing out?"
Right.
Guess what? Everyone started to back out.
I know. Well,
Facebook, Amazon, Kojima.
Right.
Everybody started to back out.
Yeah.
Of GDC, so they just canceled it.
We got a taste of this at PAX, right? We talked about how Sony wasn't there. CD Projekt Red wasn't there. The Japanese staff of Square-Enix wasn't there, and I'm sure some other people backed out of PAX.
Capcom backed out.
Capcom backed out too, right?
Don't know what they would have shown at PAX, but they apparently
know.
said that they're not coming to PAX either.
I don't know. So you call it a bit of that. It's happening more now. I get it. And I get more now Sony's reasoning for not putting their employees' lives in danger, right? Because it's not just the con, it's the traveling at the airport, which is international. You're going to meet with all those people. When you land, you're landing on an international airport. There's a lot of people there. So they're just trying to keep people safe,
But GDC is a big thing for the industry, right? It's a big thing for devs.
Probably the biggest thing for devs, I think.
Because GDC is different from the Game Awards or E3 or Gamescom. GDC is for the devs. This is where connections happen, right? This is where, hey, I have an idea for a project, or I have a project,
and I need a publisher,
I need a publisher. I need a composer,
right?
I know you're great with artwork. What do you think about this? This is how connections, networking, people get jobs.
Yep.
Right? And small projects become big projects or bigger projects because people have interest because, this is where you share it. So this is a big thing. And they canceled it for March. Yep. But they're looking to bring it back in the summer.
Yeah. I've heard August, I think possibly is when they want to bring it back.
That's a little ambitious because August is PAX Prime and Gamescom.
It is. Yeah. It is.
They would, and then you have June if E3 actually happens, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Right. July is fairly open, I think, in terms of the big conferences. So,
but that's usually when people, summer is when people take vacations and have the kids.
I mean, sure, but I mean, this is already throwing people for a loop, right? So. They're just trying to they're in repair mode now, right? What can we do? GDC, the big tenants of GDC are gone, so they're we're not going to have it because they're not going to be there, and it kind of makes sense in that case. But they're well, we still kind of want to do it. How do we put it on? Maybe we can do a little bit later in the year. Maybe we can find maybe we can get back in that same space again if it's if it's available. We'll rent it out again. We'll say, hey, look, we'll give a couple months lead up time. We'll say, hey, the CV virus is dying down. We feel like we want to do this again. Is everybody on board? And then they can kind of coordinate and make that happen because it's big not having that, right? It'd be big not having E3 for the fans and the press and whatnot. What are you going to cover in the middle of the summer? There's nothing there. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, look, it's been such a problem, right? GDC being postponed. I won't say canceled because they're looking to reschedule at some point later in the year.
Yeah.
That groups and organizers have gotten together to try to have a relief fund for devs. Because like I said, this is where projects get greenlit. Right.
Yep.
This is where small projects turn into bigger projects. This is where devs find jobs. Right. This is like a big global Indeed conference. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
To put it lightly.
LinkedIn for developers.
There you go. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. So they're getting sort of like a group fundraiser for like sort of dev relief, and they've already raised over $70,000.
That's great. You know,
Which is
That's
awesome. How to distribute that? That's another story.
I don't know. Yeah, right. You're a AAA studio, you get 10 grand. You're a small time studio, you get like 500.
No, the other way around. If you're a AAA studio, you probably get like
Nothing.
500.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works. You know, they're like, look, we want to raise money for the devs. Millions and millions of devs and different groups and people that go there. So that's going to be a bit of a nightmare. The intentions are great. I'm glad they raised 70 grand.
Over 70 grand.
Yeah.
And counting. Almost.
Maybe that's really just going to go to the costs of going to a convention, right? Setting up a booth, travel expenses, per diems, and all that stuff. They're like, hey, look, you guys are like put out a little bit. Like, look, we're going to give everybody this same amount of money to kind of ameliorate the costs. And I think that's like kind of a fair way to do it, because everyone needs to travel by plane, most likely. Everyone needs to eat, right? Everyone needs hotel accommodation. So, they can just do like a flat thing across the board. Like, I don't know.
So, but speaking of E3, right? E3 is now on watch, officially on watch, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the next big thing.
That's right. And they're already like. Potentially going to cancel it.
Well, they know. Well, ESA said they're going for full steam ahead. However, if people start pulling out,
right?
If the CV virus, isn't contained, or we're still in limbo as far as we don't, there are more and more cases popping up, like even in the U.S. now.
I know.
Right?
There's 3 or 4 confirmed cases in New York proper.
I know.
Yeah.
My former senator in Farakaway. I'm spoilers if you haven't listened to the show before. I grew up, raised in Far Rockaway, New York. He is the first confirmed case in Far Rockaway.
Oh, boy.
My former senator.
Jeez.
That's crazy. I don't even know where he got it from. I just heard about this last night.
Jeez.
So, E3 is on the verge of being canceled.
Yep.
And they're going to do everything they can to not have this canceled, because this would be the worst thing for the ESA.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you why. If they cancel E3, everybody, because we have new consoles coming out this year, everybody's going to be forced to do their own thing to get the word out, right? As far as what the new consoles can do, what they look like,
right.
The new games that they're in development, launch games, right? To get that hype generated for it. And if they do, obviously Sony was never going anyway, so they're going to do their own thing or have a state of play. But if Microsoft has to, they have the Microsoft Theater, and they say, all right, guys, just come to the Microsoft Theater.
Right.
We'll do an Inside Xbox live.
Right.
Or, EA is not there, but EA does their own thing. Yeah, we got all these brand new games coming out to the new consoles, and Ubisoft does their own thing. Everybody does their own thing, and realize we don't have to spend $10 million to go to E3 anymore.
Yeah.
Right? We got the message out there. We didn't see any slump in sales.
Yeah.
Then we don't even need it anymore.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
This is their worst nightmare. The CV virus could be the nail in the coffin, the E3 moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Because it's the most expensive. It's the most expensive convention, as far as we know, to go to and put on a thing, right? Microsoft does it. If Sony does it, they're spending a lot of money.
Well, think about it. It's not just booth space.
Yeah.
Right? Which, cost a lot of money, but you got to fly people out.
Yep.
You got to house them.
Yep.
You got meal plans.
Yep.
You got to put the booth together. You got to take the booth apart and ship it back after it's done. You got to get all the wires and monitors and 20, 30, 40 consoles for demos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got the security, privacy. It's so many things that go into the cost of putting on a show.
Yep.
All right. Is it worth it when you could just cut your own sort of direct and still get the hype?
I think studios and even console manufacturers are starting to realize, Sony especially, is like, we don't really need a presence there. We can do our own thing. And they have the great success. Like last year was good. And then, this year they're obviously going to do something to say like, hey, the PS5 is here and here's what it is, at some point in time, whether it's around E3 or not. They're definitely planning on something that's not contingent on E3. So Sony's like, yeah, we're good. It's fine. Like, like somehow they knew that this could possibly be a thing, and they're like, we're not going to go to E3 this year.
Well, it kind of makes sense now, right? Like maybe Sony always knew they were going to pull out of PAX, right? And said, you know what? Well, why are we going to do E3? I mean, this virus thing is getting out of control.
Somehow they knew, like ahead of time.
Somehow they knew. They knew. It's just weird with E3. It's just. I mean. I don't want to get canceled, and if it does get canceled and E3 is no longer a thing, I would love for all the at least the big time manufacturers, console manufacturers, and just the industry as a whole come together and say, all right, we don't have to put on conferences, or we can, but let's come together and say we're going to put together all these direct style things around the same time,
right?
So we can so the industry,
right.
All eyes are in the industry here because I think that's just a good thing for our industry.
So they're independent, but yet, they're still kind of together in some way.
Yeah. Or maybe have the game awards
become the thing,
just not in December.
Right.
But I will say this: there is Sony's not at E3, and E3 is officially on watch. But we did have someone else pull out of E3.
Yeah.
Somebody that we didn't think was even a thing with E3, and that is I Am 8-Bit.
Right. The retro physical manufacturer, right? In the vein of Limited Run and all that. They are part of the creative board for E3, or they were.
Because they resigned. They recently resigned. But they were... I don't know how long they've been sort of in the mix with the creative directing with E3. I think they were new to this because they were supposed to help come with the evolutionary of E3 and the new floor experience.
Right.
All the changes they made, or they announced that they were going to make over the summer.
Right.
I think I Am 8-Bit was a part of making those changes happen. And now they pulled out, which is a weird time to pull out or resign because essentially, this is when you're making E3 happen right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like planning's been, Microsoft has been, been planning with this since like December.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's when you get your full space.
Yeah.
Around the holidays.
Yep. All
right? So Sony knew they weren't going to E3 since like Christmas.
Yep.
So, I Am 8-Bit, this is just, I could see if they say, hey, we did it. We're not doing it again, right? But, this is like crunch time right now.
Well, I have to assume that it's a conflict of interest. Not a conflict of interest. The company's not coming together on a single vision. Whatever that term is. Like they can't come to this is what E3 should be. Right, because we had that little bullet pointed list, and it was like, well, we want to kind of gear it towards creators and like YouTubers and this and that, and like go in that kind of weird direction. And it's like, no, it should be about the games. It should be about access to these games and showing these games and whatever else.
Creative differences,
right? Yeah, creative differences, I think, is the word. And somebody somewhere was like, well, we want to do this, but I Am 8-Bit's like, well, we want to do this, and we think this is best. And you brought us on to this creative board to make E3 relevant, and they're like, look, if you don't want to do this, then we're out. I feel like something like that went down, right?
It could be that. It could be a mixture of things. It's, creative differences, people maybe secretly debating if they even want to go to E3, right? Is all these changes worth it? Plus the CV virus, and I Am 8-Bit just like, you know what? The headache is just not worth it.
Yeah. It's a weird time and very surprising. I would have never thought I Am 8-Bit was the company to like, we're gonna go ahead and be on the board. We're gonna help E3 and expand it out. They probably would have been the last people I would have expected.
But it would have been interesting to see how they would have got it, accomplished that. And
I know.
Make it more fun. I mean, remember, they're opening it up more E3 to the public more and more. So I will say there is good news, though. There is good news. CV virus may have stopped people from going to conferences, but they have not stopped the consoles. All right. The new Xbox, the new PlayStation are still coming. Reports from Sony and Microsoft.
That's fantastic.
Okay. We haven't heard from Atari or Intellivision about their new consoles.
Right. Well,
but we did hear from Konami. We do have one console delay, and that is the TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
Right.
That has been delayed. Not just delayed, it's been delayed indefinitely. We have no idea when this is coming out.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to it.
So was I. It looked like a nice piece. It was modeled like the well, at least the American version was modeled like the American one, right? The lineup of games was looking like pretty good. HDMI out on that thing. It would have been good. It would have been good to have it this year, but
it still could come out this year, but it's just because of the virus, it's been indefinitely. Manufacturing has been installed and indefinitely.
Right, because everything happens in China, more or less, right? A lot of the production plants are in China.
Yeah.
Whether the parts are serviced from there or their whole entire factory is in China, it's crazy time over there right now. So they don't want to spread anything, and they're kind of locking down things, and they can't meet production yield. So they're like, let's put a pause on that for now. So I'm going to guess and say next year, right?
Really? Wow.
Well, think about it, right? If it was supposed to come out sometime in the summer, maybe the fall, right? That's about the last time you could put it out for it to be like successful. Because if you go up against Sony and Microsoft, you're gonna have a bad time, and you're gonna lose.
Television is going up against Sony. And
Microsoft, and they're gonna end
up
losing a lot of sales. Because it's $300 for that thing. Like, this thing is under $200, right? It's, I think, 100, maybe 120.
Yeah.
And that's not bad.
This could be a complimentary thing if you buy a new Xbox, a new Sony. You get a TurboGrafx.
I don't think kids are going to be asking for underneath the 3.
This ain't for kids.
Well, no. I also don't think adults are going to be spending an extra $100, $120.
Says the man who doesn't want who says the man who says, you know what, the PSVR 2 should come out with the PS5.
Well, because it's the new hotness, though. That's a little bit different.
It's the same argument. I don't think they're going to want to spend the money on $600 console and then another $300 peripheral. I don't think they're going to want to do that. And then that's just for the hardware, not even the games that you got to buy for it. And we don't even know if you need if that's going to come with the PlayStation camera.
Right.
Another thing you got to buy, or the Move controller, whatever new Move controller they have.
I assume it would be a kit.
Like this,
or they would have a kit version of it.
Like this is more cost effective that you buy a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X and you spend another less than $100.
Well, I mean,
to buy a TurboGrafx Mini for your retro.
Comparatively, yes.
Just to get your retro kick on the side.
Comparatively, yes, but it's not the new hotness. That's what the PS5 and whatever the new PSVR has going for it is like. It's hot right now, right? I can wait on a TurboGrafx 16.
I can wait on a PSVR 2 until it comes down $100 in price.
Oh well, that's going to be like a year and a half out.
Oh, there you go.
It could be a year and a half out.
All right, I can wait. I can wait for that.
Okay.
So we got our first console delay. I mean, ultimately, it's our first console delay.
Yeah.
This is something I was looking forward to. I wish we can, sort of switch and make the Atari VCS more delayed, and this one could still come out because it was supposed to come out this month.
Ideally, yeah.
It was supposed to come out in March.
Yeah.
So, but you know what's not delayed? Mm-hmm. And you know if E3 is canceled, you know what you can do? Mm-hmm. You could play Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh my God!
Because we got a release date, baby. Mm-hmm. It's coming out in the summer. It's coming out early summer. I thought it would be more late summer.
Yep.
It's coming out June 26th.
Fantastic. So now we have something to play when it's really hot outside. Because we never get games during the summer.
We got The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 came out.
Witcher 3 is one of the most notable games to come out. It was fantastic, AAA title. Summer month is really like, you play the games you got over the holidays, play the games that came out at Christmas too. It's usually like kind of quiet. I think this is the perfect time for this game to come out.
This is it. This is the last big one. This is the swan song for the PS4 as far as first party games.
Yep.
After this,
it's all
full steam ahead on the PS5. Mm-hmm. Right, and we got Hori, Hori and Will of the Wisp coming out this month as well.
Hori, yeah.
And I think that's like the swan song for the Xbox.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other first party Xbox game that's coming out this year.
Yeah,
for the Xbox One at least. Right?
Yeah,
I think this is it too.
Pretty much. Possibly that shooter that kind of looks like Sunset Overdrive meets.
Oh, like, Bleeding Edge.
Bleeding Edge. Yeah. Bleeding Edge.
I think that's this month too.
It is. Okay. So yeah.
I don't know which one comes out first.
Right.
I got to look at my notes from a couple of weeks ago.
So one of those games will be the last big game. We're not counting Maddens or anything like that or any like cross-platform
but I don't know.
stuff.
Well, as a caveat, I don't know if as a side note, I should say, not caveat, I don't know if Bleeding Edge can get a physical release.
Oh yeah,
right. Because that could be, a multiplayer game. It could be a download only thing, like not Overwatch, like Fortnite.
Yeah,
right?
Fortnite or Apex.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So Hori to me would be, definitely getting a physical release. I think that would be like the swan song, right? In stores, you'll see in stores first party release from.
And it's kind of a big sticker saying, "Get it while it's hot." Last physical exclusive release for the Xbox One.
Yeah, we'll be releasing on Switch this fall.
Yeah, right.
Announced it at E3.
Yeah.
Announced it at E3. So if E3 is canceled, GDC is canceled, postponed, and if E3 is canceled, I think the developer or the studio or the company that would be mostly impacted by this would be Google. All right. Stadia is struggling as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Their user base is just dwindling and dwindling.
It's not in a good way.
It is not in a good way.
Well, their service isn't great. Their game selection's not great.
It's the beta. It's that, not even a beta, it's the alpha. You paid $130 for an alpha.
I know.
And the game selection is not great because they just can't get indie games on the platform for some weird reason. Nobody wants to go on Stadia.
Right.
I even asked people when we were in a PAX, I said, oh, okay, is this, what platform is this going to release? And people would tell me Steam or Xbox One, or Xbox, I'm saying Xbox One, or PlayStation, even the Switch. A lot of people said Switch for indie games. And I would ask about the Epic Game Store, and I'll get a side eye, but I don't know. But then I'll say Stadia, and they were just like, no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I was like, Stadia is not a thing, especially with indie games.
Right. And it's not worth the time and effort for the low user base.
It's so weird. It's like, why would we even be an exclusive to Stadia, right? Because that's what they really need, some exclusive games.
Yeah.
When, like I think Destiny 2, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on the number, but it's around the ballpark figure. Stadia, playing Destiny 2 and Stadia had like 900 people on.
Right.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
There's probably more people playing than television coming out.
Maybe. Both those numbers are going to be low. It's a race to the bottom there, I think. Yeah, I mean, it still needs more work. Hopefully, they're like doing work behind the scenes, because the patches have been few and far between for the service, right? They've been like trying to do stuff, but they haven't been getting stuff out that quickly. It's not great. People have mixed performance across the board. Some people say it's great, but that's typically in major cities, right? You don't really get such great experience anywhere else, which is bad, because there's like 5 or 6 major cities that have like amazing internet that are all like super connected, big like city hubs, and everywhere else is kind of like maybe not the best. But you can play Xbox, you can play PlayStation, you can play Nintendo Switch anywhere. You can play it online and have a good experience. So yeah, I mean, Google's really got to up their game and their game selection for it to
literally
maintain.
They got to up their game.
Yeah, I think they're up to maybe like 60 games now.
But GDC, where it was first announced last year, officially, GDC is where they need to be. Honestly, right? Like, if anybody needs to be somewhere with other developers, and here's projects that we're working on, and say, so they can spend the money to greenlight certain things and say, oh, that small project, we want that on Stadia. We will give you money.
Right. Because they need to see it, and it looks good. We'll take it.
That GDC is where they need to be, right? E3, where you have the press, where you can show press, hey, these are the things that we want to bring to Stadia.
Right.
So the press can hype it up, like, oh my God, like this brand new indie game looks awesome. It's only going to be on Stadia.
Yep.
Which, honestly, I think if they focus more on, like, they're trying to hit big, and they're missing.
Yep.
If they went small and build the foundation, I think Stadia could be like a real thing. Like if you have like the most popular indie games on Stadia that you can't play anywhere else.
Well, that's what the Apple Arcade had for a little bit. They had some exclusives.
So Oceanhorn 2?
Oceanhorn 2, limited time exclusive, which is great. Exit the Gungeon, which was exclusive on the system. Now it's coming out to PC and everywhere else, which is like cool. But those are amazing, good, well curated games that people would pay money for, right?
Yeah.
And Apple's like, look, here's what we're going to do. We have all these games. They're great games. They're not a shovelware. They're games that you want to play, and it's this amount per month. All right. Stadia's got zero.
Nothing.
They got nothing.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
So, but they're working on some. They're working on first party stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we talked about that they opened up another studio. Right. Which good on you. You should have did this a couple of years ago before you even announced Stadia, so you can have something ready.
Have a big unique game. It's like you can only play it on Stadia.
Right. But they did hire Sharon Studstill.
Shannon.
Sorry.
Studstill.
Shannon Studstill. She is They plucked her from Sony Santa Monica, who made God of War Game of the Year 2018.
Yep.
Right, so they're getting heavy hitters.
Yeah, they got someone high up from Ubisoft, I think.
Yeah.
In their fold. They got Shannon from Sony Santa Monica, which God of War studio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big get.
They're going big.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a gamble because you can miss big. That's why I said, honestly, I think if they would have went small, went the indie route, because look, think about it, 360.
Yeah.
What made 360, even the 360 was revolutionary and great in itself, but what really prompted 360 to be like awesome?
Well, part of it was the Xbox Live Arcade.
There you go.
Driving it.
Yeah, right? And what made the PS4? What drove the PS4 in the beginning?
Yeah, was
indie games.
Yeah.
Right.
What's making the Switch do really well?
Indie games.
All
right.
Yeah.
So if Stadia would have started small and then shot big, right? Then I think they would have made a bigger impact. I think they went big. They shot for the moon and didn't have enough fuel.
Right. Well, yeah. Coming right back down to earth. It's fine though. In 3 months, Stadia is going to shut its doors, and then we never have to talk about them again because that's what Google does. They abandon projects all the damn time.
Even though they opened up 2 studios, and they'll be like Sega and put out published games everywhere else.
I mean, maybe they may end up doing that.
Well, you want to talk about shooting for the stars and not having enough fuel and coming down.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Nintendo PlayStation.
Oh, boy.
Nintendo PlayStation, the thing that never was, that was the catalyst for the original PlayStation. When some guy found it in his garage.
Yep.
And got it working. It works, right? A couple of prototypes on there, but I think it actually works as a SNES.
I know Ben Heck was doing some work and he got it to play a CD.
Yeah.
Like a PlayStation CD, but it does play Super Nintendo games. I don't know about everything, but you slap a cartridge in there, probably a pretty good chance.
If you want the most expensive SNES console in the world, this is it. So it went on auction. And it was doing gangbusters. Even Palmer Luckey said, I don't know why people are bidding against me.
I'm going to have the number one bid.
I'm gonna, I want this thing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It was very disappointing. It only went for $360,000.
Really?
Now that's a far cry from the $1.2 million that was offered to the family who has it.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm sure there was sort of like a max bid, like a minimum bid that they had in, which is always secret, right? Like, they're only going to sell it if the bid gets this number or higher.
Right. Think of it as like a reserve bid on eBay, right? But it's like, here's what we were willing to take for it at a minimum base. Yeah.
But let me ask you something, Dave. If someone said, hey, this is $1.2 million for something for you, right? Would you put it on? Would you chance it and say no and put it on auction?
Dan, I
They wanted $3 million for this
has
thing.
to be the dumbest question in the entire world. You take the 1.2, right? Everything is worth what someone else is willing to pay for it, right? That is a famous quote.
Well, I wouldn't take the 1.2. I would be like, all right, let's just do 1.5 and call it a day. Come on. You got to bargain a little. That's just starting point. You got to bargain a little.
Maybe, but I mean, look. You had a dedicated 1.2 plus whatever the auction house would take, right, or whatever. It would have to go through, I think, some sort of service or whatever, right? They take a little bit of a cut. It's fine.
That's why I'm saying 1.5, so I can actually get 1.2.
Well, whatever it is, they like probably would have got a little under 1. That's fine because they found this thing in their basement or attic, I should say.
Yeah.
They traveled it around a little bit, got some kind of press for it, and they're like, "No, we think it can go for $3 million." They were wrong. They were wrong. 360 is low to me, but again, it's all about someone. It's all about what someone else is willing to pay for.
I thought this would easily go for at least $500,000.
Yeah,
and I think they thought the same thing too.
Yeah, but I mean, if it goes for $500,000, right? Another $500,000 on top of that won't even get you to the 1.2 that someone said, "Hey, I want it for 1.2."
Well, they're in a weird situation because not the person who offered 1.2, right? Which could have been Palmer Luckey. We don't know who offered the 1.2.
Yeah, because he was the one who vocally said, "I want to get this."
Yeah,
yeah.
If you offer 1.2 and you see that it only went for 360, I'm like, well, you know what? That offer is off the table now, right? I'll give you $500,000.
Yeah,
which is
I mean, it's out of their hands already. The person that bought it now may get an offer for like $500,000.
I don't think they I think they had a reserve price for higher than that, so where they can say they're not going to sell it even though it went for 360.
Oh yeah, maybe
so I think they had that reserve number, which probably could have been 1.2. Right? It was like,
maybe.
Right? So I think they still have it. Right. I don't think they sold it for 360.
I mean, like,
they're going to hold on to it until they can get more.
To put this in context, most art, modern or classical or Renaissance or whatever, don't even get to 1.2, and that's things that like people have agreed upon that has this value to it, right? And they are beautiful works of art, and I'm not saying the Nintendo PlayStation is not a beautiful work of art, but it is a modern piece of history as opposed to something from the 18th, 17th, 16th, 15th century, right? Like those things are lucky to get up to 1.2 million, 2 million or whatever it is, right? And they're like, nah, we can, we want to get like 3. We think we can get over 1.2. We can probably get close to 3. And I would have taken the 1.2, Dan. I would have taken the 1.2,
and I would have got it to 1.5.
I mean, sure, you can do the negotiation dance at 1.2, but lock that person in to say, all right, let's go ahead and wheel and deal, as opposed to putting it up on the auction block. But it is what it is. We'll see if this goes up on auction again. Who knows? But yeah. So on that bittersweet note, I think that's going to end episode 209. So if you want to interact with us, and we know you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon at Rated G for Gamers. Also note that we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. Check out all the fine podcasts featured on there at www.gamingpodcastalliance.com if you are looking for more gaming goodness. So please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.